Hi everybody, Dr. Lauren Tessier of Life After Mold, a mold illness specialty practice located in beautiful Waterbury, Vermont. Here today to talk to you about multiple chemical sensitivity and mold illness. But first, if you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. Please be sure to hit like and subscribe so that way you can be notified of my future videos. So today, what we're going to be talking about is the interconnectedness between multiple chemical sensitivity and mold illness. In my practice, I see that many people following mold exposure will develop a multiple chemical sensitivity, or MCS for short. So multiple chemical sensitivity is exactly what it sounds like. Maybe I'm saying it a little fast, my apologies. Multiple chemical sensitivity can be a sensitivity or a reaction to numerous chemicals. It can be anywhere from a reactivity from bleach to lavender essential oil to your laundry detergent to the smell of nitrogenous fertilizers in big box stores. The list goes on and on. Multiple chemical sensitivity can manifest very differently in different people, and so there's lots of different symptoms that we see: headache, dizziness, brain fog, difficulty focusing, shortness of breath, anxiety, mood swings, and I even see more serious neurological complaints like tremor, sometimes even loss of time for some folks, and then I see a little bit more on the immunology side for people where it almost looks like an allergy, but it's not quite. And we'll see issues around throat tightness, difficulty speaking even. So multiple chemical sensitivity hits a few different body systems. So if you find that, you walk into a place that has some chemicals, chemical smell, even, highly scented or fragranced, and you get a little dizzy or headachy, or, you kind of get nauseous, or your temperature goes up, or you just feel off, you might be someone who has a multiple chemical sensitivity issue. So why mold? Why does it even interact with mold? How did it come to be? And so in order to understand that, you really need to visualize yourself as a cup. So some of you out there who are familiar with, functional medicine and the holistic world, you probably know this metaphor. This metaphor is known as the bucket metaphor. So this is you, this beautiful tall glass of water. And so down here, you have an exit spout. You have a drain. So I just want everyone to picture a little imaginary drain here. And so everything that comes into your system is going to go in through up here. So functionally, the way this should work is as things come in, your body is able to metabolize it, process it, and have it leave. So this is you, and over the many years of your life, you have been exposed to lots of different toxins. And unfortunately now in our day-to-day world, we are experiencing a lot more exposure than we have in the past. So for instance, down here, maybe this little chunk here is when you used to hang out on your grandmother's porch and she would burn her kerosene lamp in her 3-season porch. Right here might be when that mercury thermometer broke in your mouth when you were a kid. Right here might be the gasoline spill from when you were working in the automotive shop in your 20s. So depending on your body and your genetics and your exposures, your little drain at the bottom here, your detox pathways might be clogged up. They might be a little bit slower. They might not be functioning optimally. So rather than having each one of these threats as they come in be processed by the body and leave, what ends up happening is we just kind of hold on to them little by little. We might process some of them out, but when our body doesn't know what to do with things that are a threat, we tend to store them in our tissues. And that's actually a big reason why I'm very cautious with weight loss for people, but that's a whole different discussion for a whole different time. So as people are experiencing these threats, depending on what their detoxification systems are doing, they will kind of add them up over and over and over again. So let's say you're in your 40s, you've had this full cup, and then you start living in a home that has mold exposure. Now molds, different types of indoor molds, do have the ability to produce mycotoxins. Mycotoxins are these tiny little toxins that like getting into your cells and hanging out in there. They can pass easily into and out of, and they have these defense mechanisms that protect them from being detoxed. So listen to that again. These mycotoxins from molds have the innate ability to protect themselves from being detoxed from your body. And how they do this is through interfering with something called glutathione production. So not only can they interfere with glutathione, the master antioxidant, they interfere with its production, they use it all up, and then they interfere with lots of what we call collateral pathways, lots of other different pathways around the glutathione. So they interfere with NRF2, they interfere with something called MPK2, and when they do that, they essentially just protect themselves from being moved out of the body. So you're in your 40s, new home, mold exposure, you don't realize it, but you start getting tired, brain foggy, headachy, fatiguey, you don't really have a clear understanding of why you're starting to feel nasty, but you are. And then you're filling your cup little by little, and then you hit a point where all of a sudden you're like, I can't do perfumes, I can't pump my own gas, I can't do these things, what is happening? So what functionally really is happening in your body at that point is you've hit the point where your outlet port, your detox pathways, can't keep up with what you're filling up here. So you've more or less maxed out your cup, and you're starting to experience symptoms because you're spilling over. So that's the metaphor there, is when our drain can't keep up with our input, we start spilling over, and when we start spilling over, that's when we develop symptoms. And so just imagine if you have your mycotoxins here that are slowing down your exit port, and then all of a sudden you keep getting exposures to indoor air sprays, or like plug-in air fresheners or things like that, you are going to not be able to process those out of your body, and as a result your body's just going to start being more and more reactive to all of these things. So it might start with one or two chemicals and then become a multiple chemical sensitivity. And so what the goal here is to first cap off that exposure. So essentially stop the input from happening. And once that's capped off, then we work on opening up your detox pathways, so that way we can slowly drain this cup and get you to a point where, sure, you can walk down the perfume aisle of a store, sure, you can go out in public and not have to worry about if you're gonna smell someone's cologne or get lightheaded if you run into some type of automotive chemicals in someone's taxi service or something like that. So the goal there is to stop the input and then work on detoxifying people. Now, huge tip right here is if you are someone who's multiply chemical sensitive, if there's lots of things that you identify as being reactive to, you are going to need to detox very slowly and very cautiously, and you will likely have to do some pre-detox prep work, which can come in a lot of different size and shapes and forms depending on the person. Now, if you are a holistic healthcare practitioner and you're happening to watch this, please do not push on someone's detox pathways who is already very chemically sensitive. You need to do a good amount of prep work for these people. And so if you find yourself in that position and you need to be guided through what that looks like and you need some assistance with that, whether you're a provider or you're a patient, you are welcome to reach out to me and you are welcome to get established and get some help. You can always hook up to my website below in the description section, which is Life After Mold, and you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and keep an eye out for hopefully monthly videos happening. And once again, I hope that this little quick video was a helpful descriptor of why we tend to see multiple chemical sensitivity happen so often, going hand in hand with mold illness. Thanks.